The human body has miraculous fighting abilities. Whenever there is an invasion of a bacteria or virus, the various cells of our body release army of defense proteins called cytokines. This fight shows up in the body as inflammation. The immune system of our body destroys the alien invading organisms and restores it to health. Sometimes, this defense system goes wrong. Long after the invading bacteria or virus has been killed, our cells continue to produce these cytokines in large numbers to go and fight. This is called a cytokine storm. When the cytokines continue to storm an organ, inflammation goes completely out of control, and this results in organ failure. This is science. What leads to organ failure is not the virus, but the failure of intelligence by the cells in your own body. You must be wondering why our own body should do this to us. Why should our body's intelligence fail? Let us look at two reasons today. One from the body's perspective and another from the mind's perspective. The first reason is food. Excessive consumption of sugar leads to communication failure between cells. It is a whole big science. Let us not go into it now. All I can tell you is reduce eating sugar. Stop eating excessive food itself of any kind. Whether it is Ayurveda, Tibetan medicine, or Japanese medicine, all systems suggest that only filling half our stomach with food and never to fill our tummy completely. Humanity throughout recorded history never had so much access to food as it has now. It never had access to so much junk food as it has now. If we don't stop stuffing ourselves with food, we will end up destroying ourselves simply because we ate too much. For the longest time, we as humans have lived recklessly. This is Anushasan Parv. Usually Anushasan or discipline is imposed, but now it's not the time for some outside agency to impose it on us, but for each one of us to live with greater awareness and caution. Let us now get to the second and the more important reason, and this is what Preethaji and I call the inflammation of the mind. Let me explain this. Childhood is a beautiful time of fun and playfulness. It is also a time to be loved endlessly. But childhood is also a time when you're vulnerable to harm. Children are like flowers that can't protect themselves. Let us say you had a painful experience in your childhood, as a result of which you moved into fear or anger. Fear or anger are like the defense mechanisms of the mind that would have helped you to avoid future harm. You would have moved away from that painful situation or that person who hurt you because of fear. You would have used your anger to retaliate. You would have used those emotions to protect yourself from harm in that circumstance. But long after that situation is over, long after that person who hurt you had walked out of your life, even months and years later, your mind continues to generate more and more fear and anger, much like the cytokine storm in the body. Fear does not stop. It becomes your way of being. Anger does not stop. It becomes your way of being. Let us call them inflamed emotions. Please know that when you give in to prolonged inflamed emotions, your body chemistry changes. Stress chemicals flood your bloodstream and travel to the cells of various organs. Stress chemicals make the signals in the body go haywire, and the cells in various organs suffer a complete failure of intelligence and misunderstand the body's communications. The result is diminished immunity and increased inflammation in the body that can destroy your health. Remember, so much of the struggle against the disease is happening at the level of your mind. It is very important that as a nation, as a race, we humans practice to dissolve destructive emotions from our minds. With an unhappy mind, you are victimizing your body and destroying your future. When you dissolve stress as it arises and increasingly live from a beautiful state of calm and courage, your bodies will enter a miracle zone. Your body cells will return to intelligent communication with each other, and the result will be robust health.